Good evening, everybody. What is going on? I'm Jeff Grant Media, and this is JGM Reviews. And yes, it is evening. I don't know if you can see the window up there above the beer bottles, but it is dark. Everyone else is upstairs sleeping, so we're going to try to keep it a little bit quieter. And you may even get to see my Jack Skellington pajama pants. But with that, we are going to be taking a look at the Doveet Industries Atomic Clock. Now, to get this out of the way up top, I am not affiliated with Doveet Industries in any way. They did reach out to me and ask me if I would like to take a look at one of their clocks and do a little bit of a review for them. I said, yeah, because honestly, I've been looking at these like atomic clocks, weather stations for a while. I had one a long time ago. I absolutely loved it, but it was super old and it died on me. So I've been haphazardly looking at these for a while, and I was kind of waiting for some Christmas Amazon gift cards to order one. So I ended up getting one in for review. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at it, and we're going to start by doing a little bit of a spec rundown. The Doveet Atomic Clock comes in at $69.99 USD at Amazon right now. It is roughly 14 inches long by 1 inch deep and 9 inches tall. They list this as atomic accuracy. The atomic clock has a built-in receiver, and this receiver can receive the WWVB broadcast signal of the National Institute of Fort Collins, Colorado, USA, and will never change because it receives it daily updates. That means it connects to the Wi-Fi and it updates itself daily and auto updates the time, just like, cell phones do. So you don't have to ever actually set it. So as long as it's got battery life in it and your Wi-Fi is working, it should always be up to date, and hopefully that will autocorrect for daylight savings time. Let's crack open this box and see what we got inside. This is probably one of the transmitters. Directions and our clock / receiver. Now, this is probably the outside transmitter because this does both inside and outside temperature, so it should probably take the internal reading directly from the receiver, and your transmitter, you'll probably stick this someplace close to your house. I believe it said it has a 300 foot maximum range, so you can put this within 300 feet of this and they will talk to each other as long as both of them have batteries installed in them. And yeah, you'll be able to just take a glance at the clock and see what its temperature is outside. Now, we have our big display here, which appears that, obviously time across the top and then across the bottom. This is a little more clear. Looks like we get date and weather for indoor and outdoor. On the bottom, it looks like it's going to be indoor, outdoor, date in the middle. And then on the back here, we actually have some mounting holes so you can hang it on your wall, or it probably has, a little kickstand so you can set it down. You don't have to mount it. I will probably mount it. Then we have our battery panel. It takes 4 AA batteries. And we have our controls in the back where we might be able to change the display up a little bit. I know my old one, I could change where things were on it a little bit. There wasn't a ton that I could do with it, but I could I think I could change which side was indoor, outdoor, the way it displayed. It wasn't zoned like this. It was one larger screen, and I think I had a little bit of the opportunity to change that around. So we'll figure it out. We'll read the directions, we'll put some batteries in it, and we'll get it mounted, and we'll get it tested, and then we'll be back to talk about it. Okay, so here we go. 6:42 a.m. The indoor temperature is 61 degrees, and the outdoor temperature is 24 degrees. Now, yes, it's a little cold in here because the furnace ran out of water in the middle of the night. So I did have to put some water in it, so it is refilling around now. But my Apple Watch says it's 27 degrees out, but that's a local temperature. This 24 is actually what it is in my backyard where I put the sensor. So I believe it is, it's quite accurate. Maybe it's off by a degree or two, but all in all, I'd say that's pretty close. It's kind of hard to see. There's the transmitter up there, and I did kind of put it on this metal roof that's on my back porch because there's a nice little ledge, so that may be contributing to it being potentially a degree or two colder because it is touching this this metal roof here, so that could help make it a little bit colder, but I feel that's pretty accurate. I mean, I'd have to mount it to something, and you can also see this, the remote control for I have a sensor light back here, if I can even trigger it. So that's just the remote for the sensor light, but I kind of just stuck it. You see it's working. It just flashed red. I stuck it right up there, so that's the transmitter, and it could be 300 feet from the receiver, which is inside the house. And this is my dog wondering why I'm standing outside in my pajamas, freezing cold, and not letting us both back in the nice warm house. So this is the next day. This is how it automatically connects and does your time update. It was not showing Wi-Fi originally, now it does, and now I mounted it, well, hung it above our stove, so it's actually where I'm going to place it, but I never put any Wi-Fi information in, so I don't know how or what network it's possibly connecting to, because there is no indication, there's no way to log in on the clock to log into your Wi-Fi. So I'm not sure if this is actually doing anything at all, because it's set to my watch, but the watch auto updates from my phone, so maybe it's working. So I've been using the Doveet atomic clock for at least a week now. I think actually maybe a little bit longer, because as you can see, it is December 30th. So the holidays, that kind of pushed everything back. But one of the reasons I wanted to use it a little bit longer is I wanted to check out the battery life. Not necessarily the clock itself, but the transmitter that is outside. Generally cold weather just sucks the life out of batteries. Even though these are my own AA batteries, it doesn't mean that the transmitter, it's going to be talking back and forth a lot. It could just suck the juice, but as you can see here, it's 10 o'clock on the dot at night, and it is still 46 degrees, and I live in northeastern Pennsylvania. It should be cold, we should have snow, but it has been warm, unseasonably warm for weeks now. I mean, it was like 60 degrees over the weekend, I think, or like high 50s. It's crazy, but thus far, it has been very, very reliable. You can see 46 degrees. My Apple Watch says 46 degrees, so the outside outside thermometer temperature is pretty accurate, and the inside, I have the heat down. It's 10 o'clock at night, so it's my daughter's upstairs sleeping, which is why I'm being a little quiet. So we usually turn the temperature down a little bit at night, so 63 is probably pretty accurate. I did just come downstairs, where it's generally a little bit warmer down here because the furnace, it's behind you, but it's always like 65, 70 down here no matter what time of the year here in the basement. But so far the temperature has been very reliable for both indoor and outdoor, and this has been hanging in the kitchen above the oven. So I thought that might give me like a little bit of a misreading from the heat from the stove and the oven coming up, and the fact that I had it hanging up higher on the wall because hot air rises. I thought that might give me a bad reading, but it hasn't been. It's been pretty accurate. One thing you could see here, this is channel 1. So apparently you can have 3 transmitters on here, and if you see, there's a channel button on the back here, and if I hit the channel button, you could see, well, there's none of the transmitter. I can have up to 3 out there, and then also if I do this, you see there's a little half circle icon. It will cycle through all of the 3 channels, and if I hit it again, it'll go back to 1. So I could actually put 3 on here, so I can put an additional 2 more transmitters on here, and I could do maybe like the upstairs, or if I want to do individual like zones of the house, individual rooms or anything like that, down basement, upstairs, and then this would be middle and outside. So I can actually have like 4 zones going on this at once. But I I only have one and really only need one. I wanted to know outside temperature, and I wanted to know inside temperature. Now, I do have an Apple Watch and I can just look at that, but my wife does not, so she's always asking me in the morning or in the afternoon, how should I dress? What do I need? How heavy a jacket do I need? And if I'm at work, because we work different shifts, she can now just kind of peek up at this. So I've been seeing that this has been pretty accurate. It also has three, you can see, it's hard to see black, 3 places to mount it, and kickstand. I've just been mounting it above the oven. So all in all, yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. It's 70 bucks, $69.99 on Amazon right now, and I believe there's a coupon. I tried to leave it up, my phone went to sleep. Yeah, there's a 5% coupon, at least in the United States, so you can actually get this for a reasonable price. I mean, for me, the 5% coupon would kind of knock the tax off it. There's 6% tax in Pennsylvania, so I mean, I would get it for almost at $69.99 to be like a few pennies over 70 bucks. But it's pretty comparable to all of the other like weather station atomic clocks that are out there. I was actually looking at these for a while before Doveet reached out to me, because I wanted to get one, but I don't know, I just didn't. I just kind of kept looking at them, and there's so many different options out there, but they seem like they're in between. The good ones with decent reviews are in between $50 and $70. So I'd say that the $70 price point is pretty reasonable for this. It's been reliable. Again, I did mention in that little clip about the Wi-Fi. There's no way to set up the Wi-Fi, so I don't know how that's connecting. Honestly, I don't think it's connecting. There's no open networks in this neighborhood, so it's not like it's automatically connecting to any open networks. So I do not think that this is actually doing anything. I do have it set up, I think, to do daylight savings time, so it should autocorrect. But there's no way that this is actually on any Wi-Fi. But that's not really a big concern of mine. If it is of yours, maybe you could do a little bit more digging. There's nothing in the instruction manual that says anything about how to connect this to Wi-Fi, how it connects to Wi-Fi, just that if it's turned on, it's supposed to connect like once a day to double check and update the time. But again, not a big concern of mine. I didn't really care too much about it. I mostly wanted a big clock, and I wanted no indoor and outdoor temperatures, and it's done that for me. So I'm satisfied, I'm happy. Again, the price point at $70, it's right about on par where the weather stations I was looking at were. I mean, you can go crazy and get like a full color display with multiple transmitters and multiple zones and spend like a couple $100 on them, but there's really no need to do that. I don't care about knowing like what temperature it is in each room of my house. You know, during the day we're mostly downstairs, and during the night we're upstairs, and when we're upstairs I generally turn the temperature down so it's about 63 degrees in the house. I usually put it at about 65, the thermostat, so if it gets 5 or 7, I think it's between 5 and 7 degrees below that, my heat will kick on, it'll warm up, it'll drop down. During the day I'll turn it up a little higher so my 3-year-old daughter doesn't freeze to death. But all in all, pretty happy with the Doveet atomic clock. I do recommend this. It was good. It's good to me. I'm going to hang this back up when I go back upstairs and continue to use this. And if I do for some reason have any issues with it down the line that I feel like it's something of note, I'll do an update video, because I like to try to update and come back to products after an extended test. Yes, I like to check them out, see how they're supposed to work as they are, and you know, after a few weeks you get a good idea. But after a year, is this thing still going to be working? Well, maybe next year we'll do an update video. But with that, if you like this video or any other videos, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Smash that big red button and hit that bell right next to it so you get notifications next time I post a brand new video. Good night.